Even Lisa agrees with the divorce. I was working overseas when Tom sent me divorce papers by mail. When I asked him what was going on, he unfairly blamed me, and my daughter also started mistreating me. I reached my limit and decided to act immediately. As they wanted, I quickly went through with the divorce proceedings. This will make my life so much easier. I couldn't help but voice my relief. I was so happy with their proposal. Without explaining anything to Tom and the others, who know nothing, I had the divorce accepted right away, planning to give them a surprise before moving overseas. My name is Maria Davis. I'm 40 years old now and used to be a world-famous dancer. I'm retired, and now I am the owner and coach of a professional dance team, traveling the world with my dancers. Last month, we were in France. Now, we are in the US. To absorb the powerful and dynamic dance styles of American dancers, we are undergoing intense training every day. By the way, isn't the owner's daughter about to take an exam soon? She might want to be a professional dancer like the owner. Give me a break. We don't need more competition. I've been living with my dancers for over 5 years. We are closely involved in each other's lives, sharing everything like a family. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Really, your daughter doesn't want to be a dancer. No, she just can't become a professional. My daughter, Lisa, admired me and aimed to be a professional dancer. However, she's not good at dancing, even with hard work. She wouldn't reach a level to compete globally. Her physical coordination and rhythm are below average. No matter how much she trains, she'd only be average, so I told her to give up on becoming a pro. As a parent, I want to support her, but as a professional, I think she should use her time to find a practical career. Oh, I get it. Because we're pros ourselves, we understand even more. There are so many who aim to be pros and end up failing. We often think about what they could have done with that time instead. They're right. That's what I think about Lisa too. She has no plan for her future. What will she do if she fails to become a pro? Without a proper plan, she vaguely says, "I want to be a pro dancer." She came to me for guidance with just that feeling. This world is not kind to someone without a plan. It's doubtful she could even reach the level of a coach. I was furious at her naive thinking, and we had a heated argument. It would be nice if your husband could step in and help her give up on the idea. That won't happen. He's ridiculously soft on Lisa. Unlike me, my husband Tom listens to everything Lisa says. Even if she lacks talent, he encourages her with half-hearted words. As a parent, that might be the right thing to do, but I see it as irresponsible. Part of it is because I know how tough this world is. But if your dream can be crushed just because someone says you can't do it, you shouldn't even start in the first place. Those who are truly serious aren't swayed by others' opinions. They push forward, believing in themselves. That's why they can aim for the world stage with determination and strong will. But Lisa doesn't have that kind of spirit. She gets flattered by Tom and, without understanding reality, vaguely aims to be a pro dancer. She thinks, if my mum can do it, so can I. It's just a shallow feeling. Yet, Tom keeps flattering Lisa. "Lisa, you're really a genius. You're great at dancing and so cute. I'm so proud of you." "Stop it, Dad. You're praising me too much." "But you think so too, right? I think I have a lot of talent too. I could easily go pro." Is Tom's behavior really for Lisa's benefit? I argued with Tom about this before I left the UK for good. Well, I got to get going later. Take care. As I was lost in thought, I realized that today's practice had come to an end. I watched the dancers leave after cleaning up and finishing their tasks. While writing the daily report, I received a call. It was from a resident of the home where I was staying, informing me that a letter had arrived for me. Curious, I went home immediately to get the letter. The contents were shocking. No way. Inside was a photo of Tom going into a hotel with someone I recognized, leaving me speechless. Unable to comprehend what I was seeing, I stood there in confusion when I received a call from my attorney through an app. "Did you see the letter?" "Oh, is this?" "Please stay calm, actually." In a serious tone, the lawyer began to explain. Shocked by what I heard, I dropped my phone. Hearing the noise, the lady of the house came to check on me, concerned. "What happened? Is everything okay?" She is the wife to the owner. Her bright, powerful personality, like the sun, always helps me. She is truly my source of energy. As soon as I saw her, I clung to her and burst into tears without saying a word. When I explained what had happened, she immediately told me to go back to the UK. "I can't forgive him for cheating on you. Go teach that man a lesson right now." The letter had photos of Tom caught in the affair. "How dare he hurt someone who's working so hard? Should I go with you? If needed, I'll bring my husband to help deal with yours." Her words, spoken with genuine anger like a real mother, were a comfort. "Thank you, but I'm okay. Just talking to you has helped calm me down a bit." I tried to reassure her, but she still looked worried. "Really? But what are you going to do? If you leave it like this, you'll be in a mess." "I can't go back now. We have a competition the day after tomorrow, and my dancers are in full concentration mode. I can't disrupt that." "So, you're just going to endure this? That's just sad for you." "Don't worry, I have a plan." Hearing that I couldn't return, she looked at me worriedly. To reassure her, I smiled and immediately contacted my manager in the UK. I asked her to handle something and also informed my lawyer. "This will be fine, thanks for telling me." "It's nothing. What are you planning to do?" "I'm going to teach them a lesson for taking advantage of me. Tom, you've been living off me and enjoying it. Now you'll pay the price." I decided to get revenge on Tom and the others. After the competition, I received a letter from Tom, as expected. "How's life over there? Everything's still peaceful here." The beginning of the letter was casual, but when I saw the unclosed document, my brows furrowed. "Let's get to the point. I want you to part with me. To be clear, I want a divorce." The letter included divorce papers. As I read on expressionlessly, the letter was filled with accusations against me. "Honestly, I've been fed up with you for a long time because you can't consider others' feelings. You can't even support Lisa's dreams. You're always overseas, and you don't participate in raising her. On top of that, you leave all the housework to me. Do we even need to stay married?" I was stunned by what was written. Tom had supported me becoming a professional dancer, and he was the one who wanted a child. Knowing I would be traveling internationally, I had entrusted most of the child rearing to him. That's why I kept refusing to have a child. "I don't mind. I'll take care of our child." Despite that, it was Tom who insisted on having one. So, I left the housework and childcare to him while I worked outside. I wouldn't give up on my dream and got his approval for my overseas activities. Based on that agreement, I gave birth to our child. I still have the written agreement we made at that time. Yet, he was writing as if he was the tragic victim. I was so furious I could hardly contain myself. I was so angry that I nearly crushed the letter in my hands. That's why I want a divorce. Lisa also agrees. I don't want to deal with you directly anymore, so I'm enclosing the divorce papers. Please mail them back once you've filled them out. The address written was not our home, but Tom's parents' house for some reason. This confirmed everything. Tom isn't in our home now. He was probably at his mistress's place. Grateful for Tom's easily predictable behavior, I signed the divorce papers. The lady of the house asked if I was okay, and I gave her a big smile. This will make my life so much easier. I couldn't help but whisper to myself in delight. I had been drained of money all this time. Now, I could save and use it for my own living expenses, and that made me incredibly happy. He had done whatever he wanted. Now it was my turn to do as I pleased. He'll regret picking a fight with me. And so, I vowed to get revenge on Tom and his accomplices. 1 month later. During the past month, I returned to the UK once and completed some procedures. Since then, I've been living in the US. In other words, I have officially emigrated. Our dance team aims to be the top of the world. We rarely perform in the UK, so it's more convenient to have a residence here. Thanks to the couple's kindness, I've been living with the dancers. The husband, who works in real estate, arranged for us to rent a nearby apartment at a low price. This has strengthened our team's unity, and we won all our recent competitions. Everyone could feel our improvement. Then, one evening, "Ona, isn't your phone ringing?" "Oh, it is." While enjoying dinner with the dancers, my phone rang, interrupting the fun. The caller ID showed an unknown number. Thinking it might be a business contact, I answered in an American accent, only to be greeted by an ear-piercing shout. "Maria, what have you done? Get back to Britain now. Give me back my house." The call was from Tom, and I could hear Lisa's voice in the background. It took them a month to realize what had happened, and now they were frantically calling me. When we tried to call, we found out you blocked both my number and Lisa's. What's going on? Blocking your family is outrageous. Hurry back and fix this. Why is the house gone? Where's all our stuff? They were in a panic, shouting one after another, their high-pitched voices hurting my ears. They ignored the house for a month, and now they want to fix it. What a joke. Thinking this, I kept my emotions in check and spoke calmly. "We're divorced. The house is useless now, right? So, I sold it. Your belongings are with your mom. If you want them, go get them." "With my mom? Does she know you sold the house?" Tom shouted in shock at my revelation. When I went back to the UK, I immediately filed for divorce. I also sold the house, which was in my name, without their consent. At that time, I contacted Tom's parents about their belongings. They were very mature and listened to me calmly. "We heard from Tom that he wanted a divorce. We were worried about you, Maria. Our idiot son must have done something to drive you away, right? He hardly works and just lazes around at home. Even though you're the breadwinner, it's disgraceful as a man." They supported and understood my career as a professional more than Tom did. They even accepted that Tom was taking on the household chores and childcare, and they thought I was too good of a wife for him. Because of that, they didn't just take Tom's side, they listened to my perspective too. Thanks to them, I could explain my situation, and they were furious with Tom. They even offered to call him immediately. How can he be so awful? When you two got married, we discussed this with him, yet he tried to take away your freedom and decided things so one-sidedly. We'll help in any way we can. Please don't hesitate to ask at the very least. Let us support you. I was deeply grateful for their words. Even though it was a disappointing outcome, they were always warm and considerate toward me. After selling the house, they took their belongings and promised to discipline them when they came to collect their things. Of course, Tom would be billed later, and the matter was resolved. I took advantage of my in-laws' kindness and completed the move out of the house in the UK. You're nasty, using my parents against me. What's nasty about it? Who was the one who unjustly accused me and initiated the divorce? Tom's words, as if he were the victim, made me lose my temper. I heard him gasp on the other end, scared of my angry outburst. I thought long and hard about our future, the kids, and even the marriage. You knew that and still acted the way you did. And now you want a divorce. Don't be ridiculous. This is what happens when you don't think things through. I fully understood that they were lonely without me. I had been doing everything I could for years. Being blamed for this after my efforts was unacceptable, especially when the cause of the divorce was his infidelity. The anger welled up in me, and my voice dropped lower. You can't even think or act responsibly and still think you can complain. You've been living off me all this time. I'm the one working hard to support us, and you accuse me of neglecting the kids. That's a joke. I am usually a mild-mannered person. I don't raise my voice or threaten others in a mean way. But this time, I couldn't control my emotions. I loved Tom, and no matter how much we argued, I cared about Lisa. Because they were family, I always tried to face them properly. Who could have imagined that I would be driven to divorce and treated this way? They couldn't possibly understand the emotions I felt when I learned the truth, and I didn't want them to understand. Sensing my rising anger, one of the dancers gently rubbed my back to support me. I had explained the situation to them, and they said they would help in any way they could. So I put the call on speaker and recorded it, letting them hear the conversation in real time. Even so, selling the house without permission isn't right. That house belonged to us too. You needed our approval. Seeing Tom push back, Lisa spoke up. Since our talk about her future, Lisa had always been hostile toward me. Our pro team has a junior division, which includes a girl Lisa has been at odds with. Lisa believed I favored this girl and gave her special treatment, which led me to tell Lisa to give up on becoming a professional. That's what she thought. No matter how many times we talked, Lisa never understood and only insisted on her own opinion. With no other option, I reluctantly assigned one of my juniors to be her instructor. She is currently taking lessons under that person. The idea was that if she improved enough, she could join our pro team. However, she was still dissatisfied and complained to Tom. She convinced him to side with her and started demanding that the other girl be removed from the team instead of her. Of course, such a request was rejected. Since then, Lisa has persistently caused trouble for me. You weren't even home much. Besides, your things are safely with Grandma and Grandpa. What's the problem? Of course it's a problem. A home is essential, and you took that away. This calls for compensation. I'm emotionally distressed. At the mention of compensation, I leaned back on the couch with a triumphant smile. If you think you can get anything, go ahead and ask a lawyer. It'll be a waste of time. Why? In stark contrast to my composed demeanor, Lisa snapped back, trying to argue. Beyond feeling exasperated, I felt a sense of pity. Do you even know whose name the house is under and who has been paying for it all this time? Now that the divorce papers have been filed, your staying there is trespassing, and it will be dealt with accordingly. Even if you are my child, you chose to side with Tom, and you can be charged with trespassing. What? The depth of their ignorance was shameful, and I let out a deep sigh. It's impressive how she can talk so big without knowing anything. I'll give her credit for being fearless. But ignorance is dangerous. I decided to give her a dose of reality with harsh words. Hearing Lisa's gasp, I noticed Tom talking to a woman in the background. Hearing her voice, I snorted and encouraged her to join the conversation. And you know, if you try to fight me, you won't win. Tom stands no chance against me. What do you mean by that? Oh, isn't the reason right in front of you? Are you going to pretend instead of whispering? Why not let her speak? Sarah is there, right? At the mention of Sarah, both Tom and Lisa gasped audibly. Sarah Johnson. Sarah is Lisa's dance instructor and a former member of the same professional team as me. She was an outstanding dancer, and if I hadn't been there, she might have been the star of the team. She was talented, and we pushed each other to excel during our professional days. However, Sarah didn't see me that way. She resented me like Tom and used them to get back at me. After I asked her to be Lisa's instructor, she got close to Tom. Even though she knew Lisa wasn't talented in dance, she fed her lies and manipulated Tom. For the past 6 months, she has been Tom's mistress. Tom spent a lot of money on Sarah, making our financial situation worse, and demanded more money from me. "It's for Lisa's lessons. Could you increase the allowance by $500? When he mentioned Lisa and the house, I couldn't refuse. I was determined not to let them struggle financially, so I worked hard. No matter how much they asked, I provided. And what did I find out? He was showering his mistress with luxury items while I was working hard. This is absolutely ridiculous. Suppressing my rising anger, I provocatively lured Sarah into the conversation. She responded calmly, exuding confidence. "How did you know I was here?" Without showing any signs of agitation, Sarah reacted coolly. Unlike Tom and Lisa, she handled it maturely. Careful not to say anything reckless, I continued the conversation cautiously. "I got a tip from an acquaintance, the UK. They told me you've been having an affair with Tom for the past 6 months. Apparently, Lisa was practically living with you too. How dare you ruin my family? Stop blaming me for breaking up your family. If you had kept things in order, an outsider like me wouldn't have stepped in. It's your own fault, so don't make it sound like it's mine. I was just taking care of Tom and Lisa's mental health." "What mental health care?" "Once I was fully divorced from Tom and she got what she wanted, she dumped them both." I could see right through Sarah's intentions. She had been using underhanded tactics to sabotage others since her days on the team. She was talented, but always resorted to dirty tricks to get ahead. The second best member back then was considered my right hand. Before Sarah joined, we were a solid duo, and I even planned to include her in my current pro team. But jealous of her skills and my favoritism, Sarah leaked her private photos to the tabloids. Since she was also working as a model, Sarah's leak severely impacted her career. She was fired from her agency, and the team terminated her contract out of fear of a scandal. Her life was ruined by Sarah. She said Sarah had deceived her. Sarah had gained her trust, cut her off from me, extracted private information, and sold it to the tabloids. When she confronted Sarah about the scandal, Sarah mocked her, saying, "It's your fault for trusting so easily." She lost her friends, job, and boyfriend all at once, leading to a mental breakdown. It took a long time for her to recover, and by then, returning to work was nearly impossible. I brought her into my team, and she now works as my manager in Japan. She also takes care of my family and keeps me informed of any issues. I saw Tom mentioned on Sarah's blog, so I started digging. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. Just like with me, Tom and Lisa were manipulated by Sarah. My manager spotted Tom walking with Sarah in town and quickly investigated, allowing me to uncover the truth early on. I was able to respond quickly because of this background. Now, I finally have a chance to get back at Sarah. Suppressing my excitement, I responded to Sarah's words with my own opinion. "Mental care in a hotel. What kind of care is that? And it wasn't just once or twice, right? We have solid evidence. Why not just admit it? You're definitely going to be charged with damages." "Don't be stupid. If we're talking damages, I'll be filing a claim too. You dumped everything on Tom and act all high and mighty. We need to divide the assets after the divorce. If you want a fight, I'll give you one." Does she even understand her position? She's acting tough, but she's the mistress. There's no way she can win against the legal wife. That's obvious to anyone. Yet she talks as if she's in a stronger position. I couldn't help but be puzzled by Sarah's thinking. You haven't heard anything from Tom, have you? What? Tom took on the housework and childcare because he wanted to. We have a signed agreement stating that, which I have. It's officially documented with his signature, so it's more effective than a flimsy contract. What? It seems Tom hadn't told her anything. Sarah was visibly shaken after hearing about the agreement. She probably thought she could easily trick me and get a hefty settlement. But I wouldn't let that happen. Finally, I could settle this old score. Tom, Lisa, and Sarah would all face the consequences. By the way, I also have the agreement we made when we decided to have a child. A court case would only work against you. Let's calm down and talk this through. There's no need for a court battle. We're adults. We can resolve this peacefully. What are you talking about? Typical Sarah. Unlike Tom and Lisa, she doesn't react emotionally. As soon as she realized her position was weak, she tried to negotiate. But I wouldn't let her off so easily. I changed my tone to a harsher one and whispered terrifying words to her. You ruined my family, destroyed my family, and took away my loved ones. Do you really think I'll settle this quietly? I've already talked to my attorney. You want to claim damages? Go ahead and try. I laughed at the three of them scrambling in panic. You think Tom has enough assets to fight this big mistake? The money he had was just what I transferred for living expenses. He's an unemployed bum. What? So you've been lying to me from the beginning? Why was he leaving the house in a suit every morning? That statement confirmed they were living together. It's my complete victory. They have no chance. Tom even pretended to go to work just to look good in front of Sarah. What a waste of effort. It's beyond my comprehension. Well, that's. If you're going to argue, do it after we're done here. Now, let's get to the main point. This conversation is being recorded, and my team is listening in on speaker. What? Realizing she was saying things that could be used against her, Sarah fell silent. She was probably trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. I could tell they were scrambling for a way out, but I wouldn't let them. I pressed on, cornering Tom and the others further. I have solid evidence of your affair, and if this goes to court, my victory is guaranteed. Are you trying to blackmail me? Sarah raised her voice, realizing what I was implying, and one of my students, annoyed, was about to interject. I quickly stopped them and continued calmly. Blackmail? Don't make me laugh. This is far beyond that. What? She probably hoped I'd say I didn't mean it, but there was no way out for her. A company recently became a sponsor for our dance team. Their CEO was in NAR last month, and I met with him. He's from a well-known beverage company. At that, Sarah finally understood. Her previously confident demeanor shifted to panic, and she struggled to respond. I plan to share this conversation and everything else with that CEO, including the evidence and recordings. Stop it. As soon as Sarah heard my words, she shouted for me to stop, her voice surprisingly loud. Tom and Lisa, listening beside her, were likely just as shocked. I could easily imagine their shoulders jolting in surprise. Oh my, what's the matter? Why the sudden outburst? Please, I beg you, don't do that. I'll do whatever you say. Why the sudden change? What's wrong? Well, Sarah stammered, unable to speak her mind. I decided to reveal her secret right then and there. Of course, you'd react like that. It's a big deal if this gets out, right? Because the CEO of that company is your father. What? Indeed, the CEO of the beverage company that sponsored our team was Sarah's father. He had been a dedicated fan of mine since my professional days, always offering support and wanting to meet in person. I'd kept it on hold because I wanted Sarah's approval. Sarah had always been jealous because her father admired and supported me. I knew this truth all along. How do you think your father, the CEO of a major corporation, will react when he hears about this? Please, anything but that. Oh, it might be too late. You see, your father has been listening to this entire conversation with us. What? The moment I revealed this shocking truth, Sarah froze. To confirm, I asked her father to speak, and Sarah's tone changed drastically when she heard his voice. Sarah's father: "You really are a worthless disgrace." Dad, no, it's not like that. I only did this to take down my senior, even about the marriage. Marriage? Sarah began to unravel. The moment she mentioned marriage in front of Tom, her father dropped a bombshell. Sarah's father: "If it's about the engagement, I'll inform the other party to call it off. Such a good person is wasted on a foolish daughter like you. You can marry or date that man if you want. I'm done with you." Wait, Dad, please, listen to me. What's going on? Marriage? Engagement? Sarah? The moment their ugly argument began, I silently ended the call. I immediately blocked their numbers and turned off my phone. From then on, a whirlwind of events unfolded. It turned out that Sarah had been engaged since around 2 months ago. Her fiancé was a business partner of her father's company, a well-off individual. He was a respectable man whom I had also met. I explained the situation to Sarah's father. As expected, he was furious and informed Sarah's fiancé of the situation. The fiancé, who had already had doubts about Sarah's behavior, quickly understood and called off the engagement. As a result, Sarah lost the trust of both her fiancé and her father and was disowned. Her comfortable life, supported by her father, was taken away. Moreover, with my claim for damages, she had to work from morning till night. She was reportedly mentally and physically exhausted. As for Tom and Lisa, they found out that Sarah had been using them all along, leading to chaos. Sarah had never loved them but had used them to set me up. The moment they realized the truth, they were furious. But Sarah had only spoken, she hadn't acted. Ultimately, it was Tom and Lisa who chose to side with Sarah, cut ties with me, and decide to divorce. They got what they deserved. Sarah discarded them, and they turned to Tom's parents for help. But you're not my son. Never come here again. Once you find a new place, let us know, and we'll send your furniture and belongings cash on delivery. We have no other business with you. His parents were fed up with them, not even bothering to scold, just stating their terms before shutting the door. With no one to turn to, they repeatedly called me. "Please, Maria, we were wrong. We never thought she was deceiving us. Mom, I'm sorry. I'll listen to you and think about the future. Let's live together again." Listening to their tearful apologies, I laughed mockingly. "Is this a joke? Stop it. I don't want to start over with you two, not even a little." "That's not possible." As Tom and Lisa uttered their despairing voices, I delivered the final blow. "I admit I might have made you feel lonely, but I also gave you all the love I could. You betrayed me in this way, so I will make you regret it thoroughly. You'll face the consequence for betraying me." Hearing those words, they gasped and fell silent with fear. Desperately, they tried to apologize, but I ended the call without listening. I hired my attorney to claim damages for the affair and the divorce. Due to the infidelity and trespassing, Tom lost any share of our assets. Without enough savings to pay the damages, Tom and Lisa moved from their city life in London to a life in the coal mine. They worked tirelessly from early morning to late at night, living through their own personal hell. Hearing about their situation from my manager, I felt a sense of relief and satisfaction. My dancers, moved by the tale of my sweet revenge, celebrated with me. We enjoyed delicious food and beer. That's how a woman should be. I won't let men mistreat me ever again. You're right, we must live strong. Our dance team's motto was the image of strong women, and they all praised me for embodying that ideal. Even the host's wife joined us, and we had a big party that night. We partied so hard that it affected the next day's lesson. To me, these girls are my true family. I vowed to continue aiming higher with them. With this promise, I continued to support their success,